Did you know that majority of what you eat affects your well-being? When you eat unhealthy food products, you're putting your life at risk. One of such products is unbranded edible oil. According to the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, 4 out of 5 families still consume unbranded edible oil. Good evening. Welcome to Sound Health on Lagos Television. I am Ola Sumbo Modupe. Today we are looking at the health risk of unbranded edible oils. Stay tuned. The conversation begins after this break. The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. Join us Zoom this evening is Kunle Ishola. He is a senior program officer and project leader, third party advocacy campaign TPAC, and he is going to tell us what exactly is unbranded edible oil and the health risk. Good evening, Kunle Ishola, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you so much.
All right. The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare says 67% of Nigerians consume unbranded edible oil. Only 31% of these edible oils are fortified. What exactly are these edible oils?
Okay. Thank you so much once again, and good evening. I will try as much as possible to speak in a layman's language. So these unbranded edible bulk oils, they are from the word edible. They are oils that are consumable, that you can eat, that you can swallow, you can use it to fry things and all of that. That's edible oils. The term unbranded are those that are not certified to have gone through regulatory bodies to certify that they are truly edible. So they don't have a certificate from NAFDAC, from SON, the Standard Organization of Nigeria. So you can't tell exactly if they are actually certified. They have been regulated. They have followed the normal protocols of regulatory bodies, I beg your pardon, to certify that yes, they are edible. Those are what we call unbranded edible bulk oils. So not to mention any name of any brand, but we have big brands in country that we eat from. But most of these unbranded edible oils that we see them being poured or sold in the markets through Ragoli's water bottles. Most of these water bottles brands. So there is no how you can certify this is coming from a brand that has gone through those regulatory bodies. That's why they are called unbranded edible bulk oils. And because they are in those bottles, you cannot certify the good health implication involved that is therein. And so that is why it is very important for us to take our sight off them, because they have a lot of negative health risk. To what comes through your mouth to the body, it should be taken very seriously. If something is valuable to you, you don't want to eat anything, especially in these times and season whereby a lot of diseases are emerging. Yeah, 10, 20 years ago thereabouts, we have not heard anything about cancer. But cancer is back to back from the young to the old these days. Most of these things, in fact, if not all, are emanating from the food that we consume. And oil is a very good component of it. For example, I was just discussing with some of my colleagues some of these days how trans fats. Okay, let me explain in a simple format. You have our caracellas, our yam sellers, dodo fryers, and all of that. You use the same oil to fry dodo, to fry yam, to fry this, to fry that, and it goes on and on, even enough for months. Now, you have subjected those kind of oils to eat.
It's like recycling them.
Exactly, to eat. And as it burns them, the quality of those oil reduces. And this is the same oil you are taking into your body. And they will tell you that those trans fats, the challenges of these kind of oils is that they are cancerous. So you see a lot of people coming with a lot of cancer, with attacks on tissues and organs of the body. So it's a serious matter to say that consuming unbranded bulk oils is a no-no. Sincerely speaking, it's a no-no.
From your response, I would like to ask, are there specific oils? Some people use groundnut oil. Are these just edible oils?
It is every oil that is edible is what we are talking about.
All right.
So to the palm oil, to the groundnut oil, and every other oil that we use in our homes, that is what we are talking about. And because it comes, why are we taking oil? Why are we taking oil? It's for the body to be in good health. So what is the point taking an oil that will not make your body to be healthy? So that means you have already you're already against antagonizing the rationale behind your consumption of food. The reason why we take food into our body systems is for growth and development. So if you are taking this oil and they are not doing your body good, then that means the purpose is defeated. So we are talking about all oils that is edible, that is consumable, that you can take from your mouth into the body, whether it is fried, you are using it for frying, or it's ready for soup making and all of that.
So apart from these packaging, when you see the branded oils, they have brands, names, beautifully packed and all that. Apart from packaging, is there a difference between unbranded oil and the branded edible oils?
Okay, thank you for that question. I think it's more. I think I already addressed it earlier too. So the packaging is part of it. The packaging is part of it. And let me start with this example. Years ago, before vitamin, with this respect, we're talking about the fortification of foods, so that we can have the body can have some micronutrients that normally you might not get from other sources. So if you're not getting from this source, you can get from other sources. And so in the market, if you notice, there was a particular time whereby they were introducing a particular mark on salt, on some eye mark to show that there's a vitamin A in this. So those kind of logos in those brands are already showing that there's a component of vitamin A in that particular food product. So just having an oil in a Ragolis bottle or whatever, apologies for mentioning the Ragolis now, in just water bottle does not show or tell anyone that is a quality oil to consume to the body. So it is the packaging is very necessary, because the reason most of these brands that we are talking about, they have gone through industrial processes, industrial protocols that makes them certified. If you want to do a business, for example, want to go through CAC to get it certified, the same way you want to produce anything that is edible, you go through NAFDAC regulatory bodies, Standard Organization of Nigeria, to certify yes that this is consuming for the Nigerian market. So that, and it's across the nation of the world, not only Nigeria alone. You can't just produce anything for consumption that does not go through certifications by the regulatory body of that country. The same thing goes for the edible oils that we're talking about.
Okay, what are the health risks or the impacts of taking this oil?
Okay, let me start from this. I just shared in a meeting earlier today that I was listening to the radio sometimes 3 months ago, and there was an interview done with the market women on the radio and all of that, and it was deduced that most of these market women, they add engine oil to these edible oils. Now, there's a difference already. Engine oils are not edible oils. They are oils, but they are not edible. So I was just imagining, how will you add engine oil that is meant for a non-living thing, engine, to oil that is meant to be consumed by by human beings? And some of them mentioned, they said that it increases the shelf life. The shelf life means it increases the durability of those edible oils. But you can imagine, I wouldn't know what engine oil would do if you consume engine oil every day to your body systems. It has a lot of risk to your body. So that is one out of many. I wouldn't know what other things that is being done to those oils. But I've had a lot of things being added to it to increase the shelf life of these oils. Now, one of that is very, very, very key that I mentioned earlier is the risk of having cancer. That's the truth. The risk of having cancer. And I've seen from studies too that shows that CVDs, that the cardiovascular diseases, the risk of having to come by to CVDs is also there, amongst other things. Now, one thing is very, 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 very important that I think we need to know in all of this. Truly, in the markets, these unbranded edible oils are cheap. They are cheap. But you know that prevention is always better and cheaper than cure. When the consumers come up with these health challenges that emanates from the consumption of these uncertified, unbranded oils, the costs that they will have to take up from the health implication in all those health facilities will be higher than the amount they would have used in buying the branded oils that we are talking about. So why not prevent yourself from this health cost than, I mean, in a nutshell, it is cheaper to prevent it and go for the branded that has been certified by the regulatory bodies than going for the cheaper ones now and pay much later in the health facilities. Even your body will tell, aside the cost implication as regards finances.
We hear that all these edible oils, the branded edible oils, are fortified with some vitamins, but members of the public still don't see that they look at their buying power. Can you please shed more light on that? Encourage members of the public on the need to also look at the positive side. What exactly are these fortified nutrients?
Oils that we're talking about, they contain vitamins, and they are fat-soluble vitamins that are very essential to the body itself. So we have vitamin A, we have vitamin D, we have vitamin E, we have vitamin K. And all of them, they have their functions in the body. The deficiency in these vitamins cost a lot. So how do we know? So we should know what these vitamins do to the body, amongst other micronutrients. So for vitamin A is for vision. It's for vision and also immune function and cell growth. So imagine if, it doesn't mean that it's only in oil that you can get vitamin A or any of these vitamins I've mentioned. But with this, they have these vitamins inside of them. So if you're not taking the quality oils, that means you are losing the benefits of these vitamins therein. So if for example, you're not taking the correct oil and you think you're having vitamin A in the oil that you have challenge with sight. Even your immune body, that's with immune growth. So we also have what I call the vitamin D. Vitamin D, which is actually essential for calcium absorption and bone health. So of course, I remember while we were growing, my mother would always say when you take ewedu, for example, it gives you calcium, and we've always known that for calcium for years. Calcium is about your bone health. So if you don't have vitamin D, rather, you're deficient rather, I beg your pardon, in vitamin D. The bone health is very challenging. So people having osteoporosis and all of that, having challenge, even as it used to be in the olden days. Aged people that used to come up with this, but now we're having young guys coming with osteoporosis. You're having challenge with your bones and all of that at a tender age and all of that. So we have vitamin E2 and vitamin K. For vitamin E, for example, it helps with antioxidants, protecting cells, and also supporting the immune function. That's for vitamin E. And also for K, especially, we have it important for blood clotting and bone health. So the same thing with vitamin D that I mentioned about. So these are very essential. And we also call them fat soluble, as I mentioned earlier, because they are very essential component to make the body grow and develop as it should.
It is not enough to say we want to phase out these unbranded oils. What is the role of regulatory bodies, agencies? Are you thinking, okay, what other steps can we take to scale up regulation?
Okay, so one of the things that we have been doing,
because it's like a free market for everybody.
Yeah, it is. One of the things that the TPAC project addresses, TPAC is third party advocacy campaign, which is sponsored by again Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, and CSON is part of the consortium, the lead consortium partner on the project. One of the things that we have been doing is this: we are bringing our stakeholders together across the value chain. So we are working with all stakeholders involved in this matter, because it is not as though we are partnering with the media, but the media will not do it alone. We are also looking at bringing about the producers. What is their stake? They have a stake to this. So what is the policy talking about in this realm? What policy addresses this aspect of fortification? So, and I was mentioning earlier this morning about the micronutrient deficiency control guidelines that we have domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. So we're also working to see how this will be well captured in this kind of guidelines, and also what do we have any policy that even speaks to the phasing out of edible bulk oils? So which is one of the things that TPAC project is addressing. So we want to see if there's a policy at the national passed up, the bill passed and all of that, and we have it trickled down. Then we can use that to engage these regulatory bodies. Now they have their mandate. And it's just to call them forth. This is your mandate concerning this. What are we doing to this market? We need to face this out, because it will. We can't imagine the leaders of tomorrow consuming this. That means they are not likely to become leaders before they are all gone, because of the health implication of this consumption of the unbranded bulk edible oils that we are talking about. So we are working with the media, working with the regulatory bodies, working with the policy makers, the civil society organizations, to ensure that everybody together, even down to the community. So one of the things we're going to do that we're already working about is trying to work with stakeholders in the states that we're working in. Having a kind of a regional workshop to bring about the producers, the mid-level guys, in the value chain together, and also down to the consumers in the community levels. So it's more like a behavior change communication to them too. But some of them don't know. They don't know. They are consuming it because it is cheap monetarily, but they don't know that they will eventually pay. But these things are more like an accumulative. It has accumulative effects. It might not show the result, the impact might not show now in the body systems, but it accumulates. Sincerely speaking, it's something that we are actually covering all stakeholders, from the producers, everybody across the value chain. Producers, media, policymakers, CSOs, CBOs, FBOs, across the value chain.
Okay. I also see that some branded edible oils have started selling in smaller quantity. Smaller sachets and all that. Is it as a result of positive outcomes from engagement, or can you please shed more light on that?
Well, I cannot categorically say that is from there, but
Or that's just a marketing strategy.
Yeah, it could be from their end, but at the same time, it works for us, because if you cannot buy 25 liters of a branded bulk oil, I can buy a 2L that serves you, which is cheaper, relatively cheaper, as against what you even buy 25 liters. It works for us because
there are even smaller quantities.
Yes, they are.
Sachet.
Yes, in sachet, which I think you should honestly, hopefully, an average Nigerian should be able to afford it. But for real, you are still met with people that cannot afford it, honestly, and it's just for us to encourage them to go for those smaller sachets. If you can buy those small ones in those bottles that are unbranded, with these challenges that we have listed out, and honestly, we should be able to look through. It's just a mindset that we need to change. It's a behavior change communication thing that we need to do more to the people, so they know, honestly.
All right, Kunle Ishola, tell us, what do you like to see going forward?
The people out there, everybody, both in Lagos State and across the nation, across the 36 states in country, to know that these unbranded bottles, unbranded oils in those bottles might be cheap. Always have that mentality that the aftermath, the accumulative effects on the health of individuals over time cost more. But what we would need to take care of our health in the nearest future will cost more than what we would have used to buy this branded bulk oil that has gone through regulatory bodies to ensure the quality and certification for consumption. So one is us to know, even they are all out there, please know that they are not for consumption. For your health, you can imagine health of your child, of a mother, of a father, even the children that we are talking about, the leaders of tomorrow, consuming this. How will they grow well enough to be leaders if their health are truncated now because of their consumption of what will kill them? But that's where I see it. These unbranded bulk oils, edible bulk oils.
Your final words as we wrap up now.
Thank you so much for having me on this show. And I want to say this is definitely on behalf of CSN, on behalf of our Executive Secretary, Mr. Sunday Okoronko, the leader of the Secretariat. It's a privilege to be part of this and to also show. That's what we do in CSN, is advocacy. So these are so means of communicating to the world, to know what the challenges that are there in consuming these unbranded bulk oils. So it's a very big privilege, and definitely, even in certain times, we do hope that we have more of this to sensitize the masses on the myth around surrounding these unbranded bulk oils.
All right. Edible oils must meet food fortification standards to beat unhealthy health diet, a major factor of nutritional deficiency, as well as child and maternal mortality. All right. Thank you so much, Kunle Ishola, for your time and expertise on the health risk of unbranded edible oils. Thank you so much once again. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. You're almost welcome.
I have been speaking with Kunle Ishola, Senior Program Officer and Project Leader, Third Party Advocacy Campaign on the health risk of unbranded edible oils. Sound Health continues with trending health report from around the world. Please stay tuned. The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. We have been discussing health risk of unbranded edible oils. Remember, you are what you eat. Choose healthy diet, choose the right option, shun unbranded edible oils, and benefit from all the nutrients as a result of food fortification. For comments and inquiries, or you have topics you'd like us to treat, please send SMS to 0035826603 or follow us on social media at Lagos Television, #Sound Health. A sound health is a sound mind. Make healthy living your choice.